Good. Good morning. Welcome to Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace. Welcome to the soul of Sunday. We are Unitarian Universalists. Ours is a historic faith with a progressive theology. We affirm the worth and dignity of every being, and that we are all deeply interconnected. We are bound to one another, not by creed, but by covenant. And we are called to answer the call of love with open minds, open hearts, and open hands. Whoever you are, those of all nations, all creeds, all colors, all kinds of love, you are welcome here. As we gather this morning, the people of Ukraine are very much on our minds and in our hearts. The Russian government's violent invasion of a sovereign nation, which has already killed hundreds and displaced thousands, is both immoral and illegal. This attack on democracy reveals the terrible twin legacies of autocracy and colonization, and must be thwarted in the most immediate and decisive way possible. Let us hold in our hearts and in our prayers, first, the people of Ukraine. May we raise our voices in their defense and support the refugees who will emerge from this crisis. Second, the courageous Russian people who are protesting the attack. Let us join them. And finally, the leaders empowered to defend the law, impose far-reaching sanctions on the Russian government, and engage in vigorous international democracy. Diplomatic efforts to prevent this war failed. Efforts to end this war must succeed. Slava Ukraine. Amen.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows and what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions, and rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it, but I know they're wrong. Wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on the morning star? Somebody thought of that, and someone believed it. Look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us start gazing, and what do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me, all of us under its spell. We know that it's probably magic. Have you been half asleep? When have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is this the sweet sound that called the young sailors? The voice might be one in the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Da 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 dee da.
As we gather, we acknowledge that Arlington Street Church occupies the ancestral lands of the Massachusetts. By making this land acknowledgement, we recognize, honor, and affirm the sovereignty of all First Nations peoples. Dear ones, what a joy to see you in your Hollywood squares and to welcome the incarnate congregation to the pews this morning. I want to say a very special thanks to our volunteers here in the sanctuary today. This is a very special day for the tech team. The training wheels are off. Art Nava and Richard Brew are enjoying a weekend in Provincetown, and their team has stepped up. On deck today are Barb Seidel, Jen Eno, Keith Perrin, Kem Moorhead, and Kevin Terrell. So much gratitude for each of you. Thanks to the Great Doors team, ensuring that we can gather safely in person. Queen Cheryl and Barbara Ginhart are our greeters, and Jeffrey Hale is our lead usher. Thank you for the beautiful pulpit flowers, Jeffrey, and happy birthday to Karen. Thank you to our musicians, Cheng Cheng on piano and mezzo-soprano Begzer. We had a wonderful time planning the service together. We so appreciate you. Our worship coordinator is Hala Hazar, and joining me in the pulpit this morning is our beloved, she's left the pulpit, she's in the organ loft. Joining us in the organ loft is our beloved executive minister, Beth Robbins. I think she's up there doing secret things. Thankfully, Beck has tested negative this morning, so they can sing unmasked. We've closed the first 4 pews up front to keep everyone safe. A reminder that those in the sanctuary should please be physically distancing from those who are not in your family or pod. And when your pew is full, please close your pew doors so people who arrive after you know that it's full, even if you're the only one sitting there. Finally, for those of you who are new to Arlington Street, a very special welcome to you. Please take a moment now to fill out a connection card. The link is in the chat. It includes the option to request the link to a recording of today's sermon. Since Beth and I can't greet all of you in person after the service, I would love to follow up with a virtual hello. Whether you've been coming here for years or today is your first time at Arlington Street, welcome home.
Good morning. If you haven't already downloaded today's order of service, it's available in the chat and on the homepage at ascboston.org. For our device-free guests here in the sanctuary, there are printed copies at the Great Doors. All of the hymn lyrics are included in the order of service and will be posted in the chat. What a great joy that, after almost 2 years of not singing in the sanctuary, we can sing again, albeit behind masks. There's also a link to Sermon Bingo on the homepage. Feel free to play along while Rev Kim preaches. It's time for our greetings. Zoomers and those here in the sanctuary with a device handy, please say hello in the chat and tell us where you're Zooming from. And now, Jen is going to turn the camera on the incarnate congregation as we wave and smize at each other, as well as at our friends in the Zoom room, and you all in the Zoom room can wave and smile back. Hello, friends. Let's all engage in the Arlington Street spirit of welcome that transcends physical distance as we greet one another, heart to heart.
And let's stand.
The morning hangs a signal upon the mountain crest, while through the sleeping valleys in silent darkness rest. From peak to peak it flashes, it laughs along the sky, till glory of the sunlight on all the land shall lie. Above the generations, the lonely prophets rise, while truth flares as the day star within their glowing eyes. And other eyes beholding are kindled from the flame, and dawn becomes the morning when prophets love proclaim. The soul has lifted moments above the drift of days, when life's great meaning breaketh in sunrise on our ways. Behold the radiant token of faith above all fear. Night shall release its splendor, that morning shall appear. Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true, with thanksgiving. I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
It is now time for our treasured ritual of sharing community candles of sorrow and joy. These candles were submitted on our website by the Friday evening deadline. If you didn't submit your candle and have a joy or sorrow to share this morning, please wait until the third candle is lit, the silent candle, and then type your joy or sorrow in the chat. In addition to sharing our sorrows and joys this morning, let's reach out to one another in the week ahead, staying connected. May these times remind us of how very precious this beloved community is. We need one another. Whether together or apart, may we stay very close. And now, in the spirit of invocation, let's join in singing and humming Sanctuary. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat.
Some of us come today with heavy hearts. We open our hearts to you.
A candle of sorrow from Deb Peck. A candle of sorrow for the loss of Dr. Paul Farmer, a proponent of Catholic liberation theology's tenet that the poor are deserving of the most, not the least, of modern medicine in places like Haiti and Rwanda. A final candle of sorrow for Ukraine. May the Ukrainian people prevail.
And some of us come today in joy. We share your joy.
A mixed candle of joy to wish Kevin Tyrell a very happy 60th birthday. Alas, not in person, as I'm out of town for his milestone marker on March 2nd. Please help me in extending birthday wishes to my wonderful husband. Thank you. Woohoo! A candle of joy in the celebration of Karen Manulus. Birthday today as well. The happiest of birthday wishes, Karen. May all your candle wishes and daydreams come true over the next year. Big hug.
For all the sorrows and all the joys we hold in our hearts, we light a silent candle to remember and to rejoice. May the peace of this sanctuary enter into our hearts as we share a quiet moment together, breathing our prayers for ourselves, for one another, for our country, and for the world. Amen.
Let's join now in saying together the affirmation and covenant of this beloved spiritual community. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is our gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak our truths in love, and to help one another. El amor es el espíritu de nuestra congregación, y el servicio es nuestro regalo. Esto es a lo que nos comprometemos, convivir en paz, hablar nuestras verdades con amor y ayudarnos los unos a los otros.
I can't prove it, but allegedly this correction ran in the Warrenton, Virginia Fauquier Democrat. Important notice. If you are one of the hundreds of parachuting enthusiasts who recently bought our Easy Skydiving book, please make the following correction. On page 8, line 7, the words state zip code should read pull ripcord. Theoretically, if you're good at following directions, you're plummeting to earth, parachute still tightly furled while stating your zip code, waiting for the magic. Is this a metaphor for a failure of imagination? I invite you to join me this morning in a reflection on the power of imagination. Many years ago, a colleague I'll call Helen was coming to terms with her imminent divorce. Those of us who loved her were ecstatic. I know you've experienced this on behalf of a friend. But this had been Helen's third go at marriage, and she could only see this as one more demise, this demise through the lens of abject failure. Nothing, absolutely nothing, is bringing me joy, she reported. Not even music, not even nature. I feel utterly dry. As the hungry wolves of depression encircled her tighter and tighter, I tossed out a simple question. Would you be willing, I asked, to spend just one moment imagining what your life might look like when this is in the rear view? Curiosity saved the day. The floodgates opened, and all Helen's disappointment and self-recrimination gave way to a vision of life not circumscribed by the stultifying limits of her marriage to husband number 3. That vision of being restored to herself, her life, cracked open a wellspring of hope for a better day. Keeping those possibilities before her, Helen got to work, did what needed to be done, and emerged, not even 1 year later, feeling more herself, more intuitive, creative, funny than she had for many, many years. In other words, she stopped stating her zip code and pulled her ripcord. The power of imagination is very much on my mind and in my heart as we navigate our way into year 3 of the global pandemic. I fear that imagination has been a casualty of this time. We've gotten better and better at taking each day as it comes, managing our expectations, and that is worthy of high praise. But we've been so wildly demoralized over and over that we've tamped down our zest for possibility. The cost has been to our dreaming, to visualizing a life beyond the confines of distancing. Book critic Todd Shai nails it. There is not enough lightness or balance, rupture or indirection, he writes. Not enough style, uncanniness, lyricism. Not enough tree-climbing tax collectors or spikenards of ointment being wasted on an itinerant teacher's feet. Not enough changing minds, loafing, lingering behind. Not enough garment hems being touched. Not enough storms sending young students to monastery doors. Not enough nostalgia. Not enough eutychus falling asleep in sermons and then out of windows. Not enough rolling over in bed like the Tolstoy character who wondered if he'd lived the wrong life. Not enough pilgrims plugging their ears so they won't be tempted to turn back. Not enough confessions like Shakespeare's King Richard, who felt he played in one person many people, and none contented. I want to suggest that it's important to our humanity, to our emotional and spiritual lives, to be conversant with our imagination. Albert Einstein said the true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination. Imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge, he said, is limited to all we know now and understand, while imagination embraces the entire world and all there will ever be to know and understand. The word imagination contains at its heart 2 syllables that sound a lot like magic. Imagination. is one of the most powerful tools we have. It calls on not just our minds, but our senses, sight, smells, sounds, tastes, and not just touch, but feeling. It frees us from the confines of time and space, transforming the ordinary into the extraordinary. It is a gateway to creativity and joy. To cultivate the power of imagination is the first step in cultivating the power to invent our lives. This past June, neurologist and University of Pennsylvania psychology professor Joseph Cable set out to study the imagination. We've made a lot of progress understanding what happens when we're in the here and now, he said. We've focused less on what people spend a lot of time doing, thinking about things that aren't in front of our faces. Dr. Cable put volunteers into an MRI machine, and as their brains were being scanned, invited them to picture themselves in a variety of pleasant and not so pleasant scenarios. Though imaginary, these ruminations yielded very real responses. When neurologists analyzed the data, they could identify specific regions that lit up when the volunteers used their imaginations. Meanwhile, at the University of Arizona, Professor Jessica Andrews-Hanna identified brain regions involved in picturing the granular details of an event, both in the past and future. When we set a goal that we want to achieve, she says we're going to be much more likely to reach that goal if we can picture the goal with a lot of imagery and detail in our minds and imagination. All the steps that are needed to get there, including obstacles to reaching that goal. Have you heard about Dolly Parton's Imagination Library? In 1995, inspired by her father's inability to read or write, Dolly Parton began to give books to young children in her home county to inspire, she says, a love of learning. When I was growing up in the hills of East Tennessee, she says, I knew my dreams would come true. I know there are children in your community with their own dreams. Who knows? Maybe there's a little girl whose dream it is to be a writer and singer. The seeds of these dreams are often found in books, and the seeds you help plant in your community can grow across the world. Today, with local partners in Australia, Canada, Ireland, the United Kingdom, and the United States, Dolly Parton has given away over 1 million books. Imagine. One of the tenets of the religion called unity is to set it right, see it right. To set it right, see it right. Unity author Winifred Wilkinson Hausman writes, imagination cannot be forced. It must be invited. With imagination, we're able to release limiting thoughts and feelings by perceiving or glimpsing our divine potential. Eddie S. Glaude, professor of African American Studies at Princeton, has written eloquently on the tremendous, transformative power of imagination and the cost of what he sees as an attack on the American imagination. We must resist those voices who urge us to settle for the world as it is, he says, and calls us to imagine a better world. We begin by training ourselves to see what's possible instead of what's impossible. Be curious. He writes, in every moment of radical democratic awakening in this country, the imagination has served as the spur. Ordinary people, for whatever reason, decide to risk it all for an idea that the world, their world, could be different and better place. They imagine what the world might look like, and they fight for it. Abolitionists, black and white, did so in the fight against slavery. In the early 20th century, figures like W.E.B. Du Bois and Eugene Debs, Ida B. Wells Barnett, and Florence Kelley organized with other like-minded people to put forward a radical democratic vision. They boldly imagined the United States as a just society, even though the evidence suggested otherwise. And then Eddie Glaude tells a wonderful story that he heard from Bob Moses, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee activist and founder of the Algebra Project. Bob recounted that in the early 1960s, several black sharecroppers were on their way to register to vote in a town in rural Mississippi. They knew what awaited them. A mob would threaten their lives or the sheriff would put them in jail. As they sat nervously on the bus, a lone voice sang spirituals. Bob Moses said she must have sung every song she knew. And then he realized what she was doing. People were afraid, and Miss Fannie Lou Hamer sang to fortify their spirits. At the time, she was not yet the civil rights icon we now know. She was black, a woman, and poor, invisible for most of her life to the powers that be, willing to risk everything for a way of life that nothing in her previous experience suggested was possible. But she imagined differently and sang for it and was ready to die for it. I call to mind naturalist John Muir's words, "The power of the imagination makes us infinite." Eddie Glaude concludes, the imagination helps us break loose from the inertia of our habits. It aids us in those moments when the conservative pull of the past and present bind us to the status quo on all its ugliness. It helps us break loose from the routine of our daily living and to reject the value of stability and order for something much more dynamic and unformed. The people on that bus in Mississippi felt the power of the imagination in Miss Hamer's voice and were able to see possibility in that racist town. For our imaginations to truly serve us in transformative ways, we need to be connected to the truth of the present moment. A wholehearted yes to the power of transcendent imagination. Yes to escaping into a great book or movie. Yes to kids who imagine themselves to be Jedis and superheroes. But nothing is going to turn our living rooms into a tropical white sand beach, kids' toys into lightsabers, or their powers into superpowers. It's a wild balancing act, but we need to tether our imaginations to the world and not look away, but look beyond. My favorite example is of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who had a dream not about the next world, but this world. He hadn't actually seen what he dreamed, but he envisioned it and insisted it was possible, and so ignited in us the call to change and be changed. Out of a prodigious imagination fueled by faith, Dr. King dreamed a dream that awakened the very best in all of us, dedicated to the cause of racial equality, to the vision of a post-racist world. Beloved spiritual companions, the true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination. To set it right, see it right. Hear Miss Fannie Lou Hamer singing every spiritual she knew. Remember, on page 8, line 7, the words state zip code should read, pull ripcord. I close with a few lines from Manifesto, the Mad Farmer Liberation Front, in which Kentucky farmer and poet Wendell Berry instructs in part, every day, do something that won't compute. Love the world. Work for nothing. Love someone who does not deserve it. Denounce the government and embrace the flag. Hope to live in that free republic for which it stands. Ask the questions that have no answers. Invest in this millennium. Plant sequoias. Say that your main crop is the forest that you did not plant, that you will not live to harvest. Laugh. Laughter is immeasurable. Be joyful, though you have considered all the facts. Imagine. Amen.
You can be amazing, you can turn a phrase into a weapon or a drug. You can be the outcast or be the backlash of somebody's lack of love. Or you can start speaking up. Nothing's gonna hurt you the way the words do when they settle beneath your skin. Tap down the inside and no sunlight, sometimes the shadow wins. But I wonder what would happen if you say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave with what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. See you, I just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. See you be brave. See you, I just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. I wanna see you be brave. Everybody's been there, everybody's been stared down by the enemy. Fallen for the fear and done some disappearing. Bow down to the mighty, but don't run. Stop holding your tongue. Maybe there's a way out of the cage where you live. Maybe one of these days you can let the light in. Show me how big your brave is. Say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave with what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. And since your history of silence won't do you any good, did you think it would? Let your words be anything but empty. Why don't you tell them the truth? Say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave with what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. Hey. I wanna see you be brave. Just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. See you be brave. Yeah. Oh. I just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. I just wanna see you.
Friends, our generosity continues to be astounding. Thank you for your commitment to our staff, our building, and our beloved spiritual community. As the pandemic takes a breather and we can venture out a bit more, one of my greatest joys has been to sing with other people again. I'm a soprano in Coro Allegro, a classical choir comprised of LGBTQ plus singers and allies here in Boston. Right now, we're rehearsing for a concert on May 22nd called Letters to Our Children, Voices Across Generations for LGBTQ plus Youth. The heart of the concert is a newly commissioned piece based on open letters by queer youth advocates. Mimi LeMay's letters to her transgender son on his 5th birthday, affirming who he always was, and letters from Sam Brinton, a gender-fluid survivor of attempted conversion therapy, written to their younger self as they fought to survive their mother's desperate attempt to save them from who they really were. Closer to showtime, you'll be hearing much more about this concert. Right now, I just want to celebrate. First, that we can actually imagine planning for this. And second, the deep alignment of the missions of 2 very important institutions in my life, Coro Allegro and Arlington Street Church. Friends, Arlington Street is entirely self-sustaining. Please take a moment now to join me in giving to our beloved spiritual community and filling our virtual collection plate. You can text the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, to 617-300-0509. Scan the QR code in the order of service, visit our homepage at ascboston.org and click on the yellow Donate button, or write a check and send it to Arlington Street Church, or give it to Rev Kim or Rev Beth. Thank you for your generosity.
Do you ever get scared? Do you ever get sad? Do you forget the childhood dreams that you had? Hoped it'd be better, but things turned out bad and all went wrong. You don't have to climb mountains or walk on the moon. Fill up your heart like a great big balloon. If you can't sleep at night, just remember this tune and sing along. Dream on, even when you're afraid all your dreams may be gone. Just dream on, when the world says you're crazy, just tell them they're wrong and dream on. When I was younger, I played make-believe. Now when I close my eyes, I just fall asleep. If you live long enough, life will make you believe that they're gone. Dream on, even when you're afraid all your dreams may be gone. Just dream on. Dream on, when the world says you're crazy, just tell them they're wrong and dream on. Dream on, to infinity and far beyond. Maybe they'll take you fabulous places. Maybe you'll wake up right where you belong. Dream on, even when you're afraid all your dreams may be gone. Just dream on. Dream on, when the world says you're crazy, just tell them they're wrong and dream on. When the world says you're crazy, just tell them they're wrong and dream on.
There are weekly gatherings in the Zoom room for loving kindness meditation, poetry, a tea party, yoga, and writing. In addition, this week, at 7 o'clock on Wednesday evening, Rev Kim will be leading a walking meditation in the public garden. This is a hybrid event, in person with the option to join in on Zoom. At 6 o'clock on Thursday evening, all gay men are invited to the Gay Men's Coffee Connections, hosted by Al Ingram, Anthony Canella, and Daryl Waters. The conversation prompt is, in what time period in the past would you have liked to live? Also, there are 2 gatherings next Sunday to get onto our calendars. An after-service meeting for those who would like to volunteer in person this summer at our Tiffany Windows Center. Join the wonderful group who welcomes the world to our sanctuary. And the first meeting of the book study of Layla Saad's Me and White Supremacy. Again, all of these gatherings are on Zoom. Information is at ascboston.org. To attend any of them, you don't have to be a member, you don't have to turn on your video or talk if you don't want to, and they're all free. All are always welcome. Each Sunday, we share our collection plate with a partner in our mission of love, service, justice, and peace. Today, our gifts are being shared with Renewal House, the Unitarian Universalist shelter for adults and children escaping domestic violence. Our gifts help fund their 24-hour hotline, bilingual Spanish and English advocacy, support groups, and job training. Please text the amount you want to give and the word SHARE to 617-300-0509. Detailed instructions are in the chat. Thank you for your generosity. Following the service, everyone is welcome to join in virtual coffee hour. If you'd like to participate, please answer yes to an invitation that will appear on your screen, inviting you to join a breakout room conversation. A reminder that people in the sanctuary will need to put on headphones. Rev Kim and Rev Beth will be in the vestibule. They invite those in the sanctuary to please come and say hello after virtual coffee hour. Thanks to all of you who joined in today's service and to all who made it possible. Remember, we're all in this together.
As soon as I have it, I will share information on how we might best support our siblings and cousins in the Ukraine. As we close this morning's service, let us sing John Lennon's great anthem to peace for Ukraine and for the world. Let's rise as we're willing and able and sing Imagine.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us, only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of men. Imagine all the people living all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one.
Before our benediction, I invite those of you in the Zoom room to please reach out your hands and touch the sides of your square. And those of you in the sanctuary to please raise your hands, palms out. Let's send loving kindness to the people on your left and your right. Send loving kindness to the people on either side of you, to the people on either side of them. Send out love into this beloved spiritual community and feel it coming back to you. Love is the spirit of this congregation. And now for our benediction, I invite you to put your hands over your heart in namaste. I bow to the divine in you. The words of American author and poet Maya Angelou, adapted from the close of On the Pulse of Morning. Let us lift up our eyes upon this day, breaking for us, give birth again to the dream. Each new hour hold new chances for new beginnings. The horizon leans forward, offering us space to place new steps of change. Here on the pulse of this new day, may we have the grace to look up and out into our siblings' eyes and into our neighbors' faces and say simply, very simply, with hope, good morning. Let us keep this faith, beloveds, and pass it on. The service begins when the service ends. Bless your hearts. I love you. Amen.
Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are mine.
Please visit ascboston.org for more information about this historic Unitarian Universalist congregation. Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace.